Oh man, I needed that. Freaks and geeks. I'm not doing that. Maybe I should. Freaks and geeks of the YouTube world, Spotify universe. We're back. You
Oh
think
my
that was
God.
good? You think that's is that gonna hit? Is that more like I'm spitballing here for intros at this point. We're 6 episodes in. We haven't got a tagline yet, but that's it. That's what you're getting. What's up to Black? Welcome to Black City Pod.
I'm
What,
the co-host, David.
and I'm Steven, the other co-host. I don't know what you want from me. Like, comment. Let me know what you want for the intro.
I think you did pretty good.
I think so. I'm gonna keep, I'll keep mixing it up. Eventually, someone will be like, "Hey, you kind of spit in there, young
Hey,
man."
Freaks is sticking with me.
I am a freak.
Pause.
All right. Well, in our traditional swing of things, I do actually have housekeeping today.
I didn't have to ask.
I know you so well.
Top 10 geeks.
Well, just want to let everyone know first before we start the show. A couple of things have been produced, created by us in the backseat. I'm sure by the time this is uploaded, you guys will notice that last week's show was a little bit delayed due to, this was due to some stuff we wanted to set up for the channel. And more than that, so now we have a description, a YouTube channel. That's great. There's a description now on the Spotify channel if you guys have been checking that out. So look at that as well. But also, we've decided to create and finally get ourselves on a real social media platform, unlike Twitter. We are now on Instagram. Yeah. Dripped out.
That also means threads.
Ooh. Can I get 2 Riz effects?
Ooh, I got it. I got it.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
That might be our intro song.
It's just that mix. Hey, I'm down. Music Man. Get on it. But yeah, we're on the gram now. At the Black City Towers. You can see all of our we're kind of uploading, bit by bit, but you can kind of see a little bit of, what I guess whatever is part of the show, we'll probably post something relevant to it. This week's show, we have a couple of reels and stories that are relevant to it. And make sure you guys follow. That is the Black City Towers on Instagram. You can't miss it. Our SEO is actually pretty good on Instagram. Thank you. So, want to see some, I guess, cool trading cards, or want to see some funny clips that we're going to be uploading soon? Check us out on there. And we're building the empire. Another skyscraper rises up in the Black City.
I like that.
I'm trying my best here today.
Eat another one.
Dang, Quadra Riz.
Yeah, but please do follow us on our social medias, especially the Instagram. I think we're going to put a lot of work into it and a lot of just stuff to interact with, a lot of questions, cool little card art, show off some of our collection, and just like funny moments we have together playing games. So hope to see you there.
Yeah. All right. Well, back to the show. We've got it pretty, it's another kind of TCG relevant show, but there's a couple of mix-ups. We decided to, throw some a few other things in there. So, first off, we'll just go down our subject list. We're not gonna get to everything today. Most likely, it is an hour and a half long show, and we're already 5 minutes in. So, let's not waste any more time. We're gonna be going over our experiences at the Obsidian Flame pre-release. We'll be just doing an update on the Twin Leaf GG Pokemon Card Simulator website, because there are a few, not a lot, so don't expect much, but there has been some updates. We'll be discussing on remote claw machines from the comfort of your own home, playing slot claw machines in the land of the rising sun, that's good stuff, right? So we'll be talking about that. We'll be discussing our brief experience watching EVO this weekend. So that happened. EVO, the fighting game tournament. More on that in a bit. And let's see, I got a long list. Digimon at GenCon. There was just be some suspicious rule changing going on, and why these big tournaments are deciding to pull the rug underneath all these players consistently. We have a Reddit thread on Pokemon Unite and whether your character is actually a full character or a one-trick pony. There's our nostalgia of being a niche hobby investor. Well, at least hobby collector, now investor for some people. And
Full-time job.
Yeah, and how a hobby turned into a job for some people, and how that kind of sucks. We'll also be doing a recap on, or not, or I guess not a recap, but an update on the Pokemon collection contest from that drug strip ad we talked about back in episode 3. That's still going on. I know that was like the kind of side story of that whole thing, but hey, it's been interesting. We have potentially a couple of news stories, and then if we get to it, I have a couple of updates for Pokemon Sleep, which has had 6 updates in of itself. So, yeah, I can talk about my experience with trying to deal with that before I go to bed. So yeah, with that all said, let's start from the top. And yeah, Obsidian Flames pre-release. So that happened. At the time of this recording, it happened a week ago, but
Wow.
yeah, we went. And there was 2. I don't. I mentioned it before, but it was my first pre-release. Let me start over. So the pre-releases were on for us. I went to one on Tuesday, and then we both went to the one on the following Thursday. They were both hosted at Forge and Fire Gaming. Shout out to Forge and Fire Gaming, South County, St. Louis, up and coming spot. Based on, based on
that place was packed.
Yeah. So turnout both days was 30 plus, I think, and it was not big enough to house that many people. It was just big enough.
People were standing.
People were standing. Cards were flying all over the place.
Except everyone who pulled a Charizard.
Yeah, so do we want to
fully sleeved?
Do we want to start with that? Because I mean, that was before we played. People had to pull, because we drove up there. The registration started at 6, and we get there.
Right.
Everyone's already in their seats and everything. A lot of kids. I mean, I know it's Pokemon, but usually for these pre-release things, it's usually just grown men or grown adults coming to it. Maybe a kid or two. But I think it was actually a 60-40, 70-30 split.
Yeah, because 2 of the tables were definitely filled with like people getting off work, and the other table was the children who actually play Pokemon.
Yeah. So I mean, it was kind of surreal because, like, obviously I know I'm around people who know Pokemon, so that's no big deal. I don't talk to people, so it wasn't like, oh my god, I've been around these people before. But to kind of go in there and like there's 10-year-olds playing the game and their parent. What got me was the parents playing the game, because I don't know about you, but like our parents weren't like sitting there. They play the game a little bit, but once you get to a certain age, I'm not playing this garbage. You can go play Pokemon Stadium by yourself.
Yeah, then they can't even name them, but we got seated next to a family of 4. So it was a father, the mother, and then the daughter and the son, and they all play.
Yeah.
And they all knew card rarities, and it was surreal to see. I was like, are these people crazy? But they were like some of the nicest people we met.
Yeah, I mean, well, with I feel like with geeks, that's not true. I'll stop. I feel like, with especially trading card crowds, I'm not saying the bar is low, but it was nice to have like the family, like they were all knowledgeable about the game and they all were like willing to like talk. I usually don't talk with like the younger crowd because I don't know, I'm talking to a kid, but like he was so excited. Like one kid walked up to me, he pulled a Melmetal EX. And I was like, oh man, really cool. We were like talking about that Pokemon. I was like, I would never talk about this with any other person, but this kid's really jazzed about Melmetal. So
yeah, this is definitely a new age.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still hope. The new Pokemon do have fans. But yeah, so we got there and how it was set up, I didn't know I had to make a Pokemon Play account because for those that don't know, so a pre-release is you go to it's like a tournament kind of a setup where you play one round matches with the other players. But usually for a tournament setting, you do get these I guess tournament points when
Right.
you know win or lose or whatever. They made us set an account to hold these points, but we didn't get anything like that. And we can kind of talk a little bit more about like how that all is set up because I don't really know too much about it. But
Sure.
um, it's it was set up like a tournament setting. You know, they wouldn't seed you, but they would set you up in a bracket against other players, and then like a round robin sort of a deal. And then I guess I should probably explain what a round robin is. Can you do that?
Yeah, yeah. So it was a bit interesting that they used this, but a round robin basically is you're in a sort of pod with a certain amount of people. So in this situation, we were in a pod of 4 people, and we had to play matches against every single person in that pod. So me, person A, person B, and person C, all of us had to play, and the person with the best win loss record won their pod,
Mm,
so to speak.
okay.
And it was really good because we didn't have to run some really long tournament. Everyone got to play at the same time because there were even amount of people, and it worked out great considering the entire place was packed, and it was probably the fastest way to get everyone out the door.
Oh yeah. So and the reason for that, because it's not a competitive setting. You know, we're here to just play the new with the new cards for the most part. How it would work is that every round you played, you'd get another booster pack of Obsidian Flames, regardless if you won or lost. So there's no stakes. People, could just you could use the build and battle set deck that they give you, or you can pull from the booster packs they also provide it because they provide you with 4 to start with, and then you could build a deck from there. So we sat down and we started, kind of just hanging around, chatting and waiting for the thing to get set up. I feel really bad though for that one guy who was trying to sell bulk.
Oh man,
Man,
firstly, because as we've already stated, the place was entirely too packed. People were standing up. There's this young man in the corner who's organizing legitimately probably like 5,000 plus cards, sorting them to sell bulk to the store. And he was this quiet dude, minding his business. He wasn't in anyone's way. He made sure he wasn't near anyone, not even the flesh and blood players. Shout out to them. But I felt so bad when the store owner's kid was running around and knocked over that man's box
yeah, and these
of sorted
box,
cards.
yeah, these boxes hold like 1,000 cards. So you just got 1,000 cards on the floor, no longer sorted. Pick up 1,000 game. And I guess I felt like it wasn't too bad because the kid did help, but like I made eye contact with him when those cards fell. I looked at him and he looked at me and he just shook his head. He was like, "There's no way. There's no way."
That member was behind enemy lines. There's nothing he could do because it's also the person who's buying your bulk is the shopkeeper and it's
Right.
their son. Like, what are you gonna do,
You,
right?
you gotta hold that.
Yeah.
You literally have to hold it to get that bag. So, or at least a good deal on it.
Right, exactly. But I was very happy that the I don't know how old he was, probably like 7 years old. The 7-year-old kid, instead of just like running away from the situation like I usually see, he
Mm,
stayed and picked up all those cards with the guy. So
yeah, +1 to the youth. That kid
yeah,
right there. We'll get into it, but that kid right there is probably the nicest kid at that event. Um,
it makes up for being a Melmetal fan. But yeah.
so we get our so what they do is they hand out these build and battle kits, and like I said, they give you a pre-made 40 card deck, and they give you 4 booster packs, and you are asked to build a 40 card deck with the cards that they provided you. I think that's the most interesting part. You have 30 minutes to build a deck out of that. You can't
Yeah.
exchange with anybody, and you have to use whatever you're given. So the interesting part comes on what do you pull from the booster packs. Um, I pulled I pulled useful stuff. I'll say that I didn't pull anything really good. And we can kind of talk about a little bit about our decks, but before we get to that, like I don't know how you felt, but how what I heard from everybody else is that everyone was pulling like the money cards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's interesting doing this because your bulk is more valuable in a competitive sense. So like a lot of your common and uncommons are probably more likely to be useful than like the Charizard that everyone was pulling, or like whatever random EX like Toad School, no Toad School, you know. Like people couldn't build decks around these sort of boss monsters or like their primary Pokemon they build around because the format's so limited. If you pull a one of Charizard or a one of anything that's not a basic Pokemon, like what's it gonna do for you, right?
Exactly, exactly. That being
So
said, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just say, fortunately, it was a more casual format, and a lot of people were able to walk away. And shout outs to this shop in particular. This is the first draft event I've gone to and pre-release I've gone to that's free.
Oh yeah,
So
I guess we didn't mention that. Yeah, usually these things cost like 10 to 30 bucks
yeah,
to
yeah,
get in the or to register or to get any packs. That's why you're here, really. But but yeah, they hosted it for free for all of their days that they were hosting it, which I thought was crazy. But I guess, like I said, it seemed like they're really trying to get people to come through to the store. I mean,
right.
they got my attention for sure.
Twice.
Twice, right?
He
So,
went twice.
oh, I will say we're going to be talking mostly about Thursday since both of us went, but Tuesday, just pretend that Tuesday was the exact same, except in the same vein of how like your booster you pull an EX, it means nothing. I pulled actually a good one. I got a Victini EX, which is a basic Pokemon, which means that is now going to be my main deck.
Deck built around the one of
Yeah,
Victini.
exactly. And if you remember when we last talked about Obsidian Flames, we all took a big old dump on that Victini card.
I stand by it.
Well, now I do. That's my soul brother.
What is it? What is it in Yu-Gi-Oh? That's like your partner or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
That's your
that's
Karibo.
my Karibo. Hey, we throw the two fingers up, deuces. Yeah, no. So Thursday we're sitting there and we got the same deck, didn't we?
Yep, we
Yeah.
both got the. So the way these work, you get a build and battle kit and has a random deck. It's like one out of like 4 or 5 possible decks, and the one that we both got was the Mawile EX with Toxtricity
Not EX,
and
not EX.
Palafin. Oh, you're right. You're right. Just Mawile. Um, I don't know why I said EX, but Mawile, Toxtricity, and Palafin.
Yeah.
So that was like the bulk of your deck were these 3 Pokemon, and then you just kind of like prayed that you got something decent from your packs because it didn't come with a lot of trainer cards. I think it came with like 1 or 2.
Well, that's the thing. So it does come with five. Some okay. So the Palafin and Toxicity one came with Nest Ball, Great Ball, two youngsters, and I think Clavel. If I'm not mistaken. So it gave you five.
I don't think Clavel because I remember people were like, "Oh, that's so good in this format," and I
Oh,
pulled it.
okay. I pulled it too. So maybe that's why I
Like,
was thinking.
no way.
uh,
Those 4 for sure.
those
Yes,
four
we
for
both
sure.
had.
I think there was another one, but either way. So you did get some trainer cards. Now, granted, most of those are single per turn use, but good nonetheless.
Right.
So we got those, but I will say that yes, what you got from your booster pack really determined if you were good to go or you were just stuck. Because if you didn't get what so the trainer cards are good for one thing, right? Card movement and stuff like that, but not really that much else. Like Great Ball is nice, but to draw 7 cards to pick a Pokemon, that sucks in any format. It still sucks here, even though you have a smaller deck.
Right.
Um, so you do need some support, and I think the most of the support is you need better Pokemon. The Pokemon they give you in the deck are okay, but like for example, Toxicity requires multiple types of Pokemon. And I think they only give you like 3 types of Pokemon.
Right, exactly. So you basically had to pull for maximum damage at least. You basically had to pull at least 2 or 3 other types if we're not including the potential other toxicity you have on your bench.
we'll get
Clutch.
we'll get to that. Um, so, and I will say also too, you don't want to run. You can just use the 40 cards you get, but for our example, since we got the Palafin toxicity tree, um, we're out half a deck. So not to get too deep in, but Palafin requires you to be able to switch into it on the turn before it attacks in order to do the move that actually puts in work.
That doesn't do just 30 damage.
Exactly. They don't give us. They didn't. There are no switches. No, that's right. We did get one switch, right? Did you get a switch?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you get one. But that was the fifth trainer card.
Yeah. So the fifth trainer card was a switch.
A singular switch.
One. You can use it one time. In a format where there's 4 prizes, yeah, but like if you use it one time, now you gotta waste energies out of your 40 card deck in order to get Palafin to full power. So that was easily, to me, in my opinion, that was the worst of the deck portions, was the Palafin deck. Um,
Absolutely.
there were 2 other types you can get. Not two. I don't know. Togekiss was one, and then Camerup was the other one. But whatever the other ones were, who cares? Because Camerup was like the deck to run.
The obvious winner.
The obvious winner, because it was just dumb, brain dead. I do 50, and then I can do a potentially 250, which nothing in this format is surviving. so, so yeah, and we can kind of talk about it more. But um, so we get our cards. So we don't have Camerup. We have Toxicity essentially, and which honestly we pulled really good for that
For
Toxicity
this
deck.
strategy.
Yes, because the trick now is, okay, like I need multiple types of Pokemon, but I don't know how to fuel them, because in Pokemon, some Pokemon and cards have the the type of energy you need to supply them, um, is is different. Like sometimes you might need a water energy, or you might need a grass energy, or a fire energy, which kind of sucks in a deck with a bunch of different types, because if you pull a fire energy and you have only water on the field and they all need water energy, then it's kind of useless. Um,
Exactly.
there is, however, colorless energy requirements where any energy will suffice. And I think both of us pulled a lot of Pokemon that didn't care what energy we needed. And that we ran with that. that was our deck.
I was gonna say, like, just a pat on your back, because you made the very smart decision of, you chose consistency over getting some like power cards or something like that.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people were trying to make stuff work that just didn't make any sense, like running like a 3 type deck or something because they got 3 good attackers, versus I'm gonna run something that I know will be able to attack any turn because the 1 type of energy I have in my deck works for all of them.
Exactly. Exactly. And that kind of comes to, deck building, where like you say, consistency is the way to go. Because what if you whiff in a game where, and I will say the rules of this game is you have 4 prize cards, and each Pokemon you knock out, you get one. So after 4 Pokemon are knocked out on the opponent's team, that's it. Um, you don't have a lot of time to start building, even though this is a slower format from traditional Pokemon, competitive Pokemon, our trading card Pokemon game. Um, it's still somewhat fast. So if you're just whiffing for 5 turns, you pretty much already lost. So
Yeah.
so yeah. So that was our deck building experience. We were kind of ready to go at that point. Um, I don't know. Do you want to pivot to our run, or do you want to talk about? I mean, because I feel like my run was like okay. Um,
Yeah, I'll talk about my run
yeah.
for sure. So my first opponent was this really awesome dude who, Pokemon is just so funny. Like, real life imitates art. My first opponent was an IRL juggler, like an IRL juggler fire dance, like the trainer class.
Raw.
And he was this really cool dude. He was telling me how he overcame some struggle with like his mental health and stuff, and now he has a bunch of extra money and he just uses it on like Pokemon cards and stuff.
Man, you had a
And this was his first event.
long
Um,
conversation during the
oh yeah,
match.
like he gave me all the lore. Like it was anime. But yeah, he was a really cool dude, and his first time playing. Um, but we were both talking about the rules and stuff, and making sure we both played right. And it was a really good match, but it was also really quick. I won in exactly 4 turns. I didn't miss any knockouts. I chose to go second. Um, yeah, Clavel is crazy putting 3 Pokemon on the bench.
I mean, the limitation for it is it has to have under 120 HP, but since most basic Pokemon do,
Right.
you know, it's you don't notice it. Especially
Exactly.
especially just to get I can pick any 3 from my deck. So now I'm gonna get Toxicity ready to go to start swinging for 140.
Mhm.
You know, really good, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt really good about it. But it was funny because after we got done, we talked and he was showing me his collection, and he just started playing during when Crown Zenith came out.
Oh
And
wow.
he's more so a collector actually. He does this thing called I think master collecting or master collection, where basically you collect every card of every rarity in the set.
I mean, Crown Zenith a great place to start, right? Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. I was like, you came at the right time. That is a beautiful set. It's one of my favorite sets of all time in Pokemon. They got all the best artists in there. But
oh yeah.
yeah, we we were talking. So there's this professional juggler in front of me. To the right of me is someone who works at Schnucks, and then to the right corner of me is someone who works at Panda Express. And we're all literally just talking about how we just got off work. And what we chose to do on our Thursday night was to come here to this pre-release, and we just had like a really good time, just talking about how like yeah, this is kind of like an escape of some sort. It could be problematic, but here we are.
Wow.
How was
Well,
your round though?
my round one was pretty quick. The guy I had to fight against, he and just from background, we were kind of talking before our match, but he is I wouldn't say an investor, but he's like a deal searcher. You know, he's kind of like me. We're like, oh, this is like a really good deal. Let me find the card for the cheapest price, and then maybe one day sell to the highest bidder.
Oh yeah, haggler.
Yeah, haggler. But that new trainer class dropping. Remember Gambler?
Yo, raw sprite by the way.
Yeah, dude. Well, which one? We're talking about the old man or the
Old
detective?
man,
Okay.
old man go crazy.
Yeah. So I played against him, and he was a really cool dude. Like, we were talking about some of the crazy cards he's found around Missouri, and like, there's a lot of places that are kind of like untapped to kind of find cool and unique cards. So you're kind of going back and forth, like telling, I guess, our stories about what we found. Um, and we get into the match, and he bricked. He bricked really
Oh,
bad.
no.
He pulled Cleffa for his first turn. I was like, okay. And I went, no, oh wait, no, it wasn't Cleffa because then he would have had a chance. He pulled something that had under 50 HP. And
Bonsley.
oh, maybe it was. And I think I did have to flip a coin. Um,
The only work you had to put in.
okay, here's what happened. I played Solrock, and I so before we did our matches, I told Dave that hey, I have Solrock to help me look for Pokemon, but like he has an attack that does 50. I'm gonna run 1 psychic energy in my deck just in case I have to use it. And literally this
Did not
first,
agree with this decision.
literally the first. So I went first. So I had already an energy on it, and then the next turn I was like, all right, play the psychic energy, and then flip the coin. Confusion didn't go through. OTK. Or 1 turn kill. That's what as it goes.
I will. Yeah, I'm never co-signing that. Like that was something beyond luck. You must have gone to church last Sunday.
David laughed at me when I pulled it. I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know why? Because the rest of my cards can use it anyway. So Hey, it was either that or the water energy for Lapras. I was like, there's no way I'm getting these two in the same room.
It was a Soul Rock deck.
Yes,
One of, by the way.
absolutely. It was like 90 that day, I was just kind of, banking on it.
Yeah, but round one went pretty good for both of us for sure.
Yes, clearly.
Round two, and this is where things kind of diverge. So I think Steven met a lot of nicer people, but I played against this guy who said it was his first time playing, and he was a dad, but he was also an investor, and I could tell because he was showing people his binder earlier and trying to like get sell cards and stuff for cash there.
Yeah.
Um, and he misplayed on the first turn, and I explained to him, and it was funny. This goes back to the Bonsly you played against. Bonsly and Obsidian Flames has an attack that requires no energy of any cost, and he put energy down on it. And I told him like, "Hey, I don't want this to affect the state of the match, but if you put the energy down on Bonsly, I think that's just a waste because it can't use that energy anyway. And I don't even think Sudowoodo was in the set. So,
No, I don't think
and
so.
I also had no retreat cost. So I was just telling him, like, hey, that's kind of a waste. Just being nice because, it's kind of casual.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And he takes energy back and then he like fills up his bench and like just goes like full combo, uses all his trainer cards and his only supporter for the turn and builds up Camera Up. And at this point in time, all I had on the field was an Audino and a Lapras. So I had no win condition in sight. And I was just like, okay, I've already lost this game. But so he knocks out my Audino. I put Lapras up. Only thing on the field. So next turn I'm just about to lose. I draw a card, play Great Ball. I get Toxel off of it, and I put Toxel on the bench and put energy on it, and I just have to pass my turn. That's all I could do. So, long story short, next turn he gets the knockout, so I'm down two prizes. But I draw into my Professor's Research, and I just discard all 7 cards in my hand and draw 7 more cards in my hand because I bricked really bad. And I draw into Toxicity and a Switch. And I just came back so hard and I felt so bad because this guy's son came up to him and was telling him like, "Oh, Dad, you're gonna win this. You already won this. Blah blah blah."
Oh.
And it made it feel even sweeter. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie.
I didn't know
It
that.
felt even sweeter knocking out his win condition. And then when all he had on his bench was Palafin.
Oh, it was a done deal.
I knew I already won.
Oh,
I think his
man.
other Camera Up was in his prizes because he had a Numel on bench.
Okay. He
But
couldn't find it.
yeah, he could not come back from my Toxicity because I think that was his only attacker or something. But he lost. I smiled at him and said GG, and his son like walked away after I got my last prize, and he didn't even say GG or anything back. He just got up and left.
Whole family in ruins. You killed them.
I did.
Oh my god.
To be fair, like he was winning for sure, and if
Mm.
I didn't tell him that, like I would have won just from him misplaying at the start. But I'm glad I won anyway. It was the moral victory.
That kid should be happy. Anime is real. Oh my god. He main charactered you.
Dad, you got this. Professor's Research.
Raw draw.
Prowler theme.
Oh man, that's real. Honestly, it's moments like these that we have to start going to more free releases.
Oh yeah, man! It was your son walked away from your L for me.
Your son learned that you weren't like impeccable, unbeatable, unbreakable.
Simply not him,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, that was my round 2. It was fun though. I hope the guy did have fun, but he was pretty upset. He went and stood outside for a bit, and I was like, I'm not gonna even try and console this dad.
It's all good. He's gonna come back in and try to make some more sales, bro. He's wheeling and dealing. Well, I'm glad you had Man, that's an anime episode round 2, honestly. An NPC dad or the kid's like, "You got this. I believe in you." Broken.
Double
Well,
kill.
fatality. Monster kill.
Okay. I'm gonna make that a sound clip next episode.
Yeah. The hits keep hitting.
Your
So
round 2 though?
yeah, my round 2 was not as eventful. And actually, I did coast again, for the most part, because the guy I fought against, I think it was the person you were talking to, the Pan Express guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as we called him, the ghost guy, because he had a sick iPhone case of all the ghost Pokemon.
Shouts to Ghost Guy.
Ghost guy was chill. He bricked too, though. By the way, yeah, his deck
You
just.
said I'm anime. You had plot armor.
Oh well, I mean, plot armor is like that gets you what, like tier B villain. But yeah, well, dubs, dubs nonetheless. Well, he was running the Togekiss deck, and he could not pull a Togetic, like it was not coming. So I got to set up Toxicity, lay out all. I had the whole rainbow deck bench going, and I was like, all right, all I need now is one energy, and of course, after turn 3, pulled it. I'm like, all right, time to start sweeping. So it was. Oh, you know what? What made it easier though? I had Entei on the bench, and I used Gita, which lets you pick 2 energies from um your deck to load it up. I didn't have to use it though. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But the trade off is you can't attack that turn, which doesn't matter if your setup turn is like, all right, next turn you're dead, so you better figure something out. Maybe in other formats, like having that turn is much better, with bosses orders and stuff. But
Right.
in this format where your bench is impeccable, impenetrable, even, yeah, it doesn't even matter. So we play the first one, and I knock him out in like 3 turns, and so we're kind of talking and just kind of hanging out. And then we're like, you want to just run it again? So we did. So we ran another match, and it sucks because he was going to win game 2, even though I had Entei. Um, so what happened? So yeah, I had Entei on in front with like 5 fire energies, and for each,
Jeez.
yeah.
What the?
So, and every fire energy gives you 20 extra damage on top of 60. So I'm hitting for, what, 5, 10. So 160 damage, which is
Knocking out pretty much
yeah.
everything.
I'm wiping everything, and he has an ability which reduces all damage to him by 20. So nothing's getting built up fast enough to survive. So that's all going on. But he finally pulls. I didn't know this. The Togekiss deck had a rare candy.
Yeah.
So, just for those who don't know, rare candy allows you to skip an evolution stage. So, for instance, if you have a Charmander, usually you would have to evolve into a Charmeleon, wait a turn, and then play Charizard on top of it. But if you have rare candy, you can go from Charmander straight to Charizard. That makes sense. So he played on his Togepi to get Togekiss, and Togekiss is a way better Pokemon. It does 110 damage, and also has the ability to, at the end of your turn, you can draw cards in your hand till you have 8. So you're never bricking after that. But unfortunately, before he could actually start, run the train on me, it was round 3 time. I didn't take a loss. So that was my round 2. It was pretty another cakewalk, honestly.
Yeah, he was a good sport about it too.
Yeah, no, he was really cool, dude. Like we talked about, I was like, yeah, Entei's just kind of broken. Honestly, all the fire types were broken in this format because like their energy cost is pretty low, and you're not burning energy. I mean, you're burning energy, but in different ways. I think is interesting with this set. Like with Camerupt, you're not burning from Camerupt itself. You're burning each other's decks.
Right. And I don't think there were even any cards that got rid of resources, like energy off of Pokemon. So
So I know Mawile does.
Only
Um,
special energy, right?
only special energy. I think some. Oh well, yeah. Actually, on Pokemon, no, it's everything else, which is interesting. Um, which they actually made a card for with Patrol Cap.
Yeah.
That item sucks, by the way. Um,
Very. That's beyond situational. That's actually anime pro tag card.
not even niche. It is just this one time in band camp. So yeah, that was round two. I mean, let's go right into round three.
Yeah. So round three. And this is this is a little funnier because this guy told me he was new to the game, but I saw the way that he shuffled and I saw the way that he put his energies and stuff down, and I knew he actually played. So he was definitely trying to. It was a mind game. Like he knew how to play,
This
and
is
he
not an
probably
uncommon
plays.
thing, though, right?
Yeah, this has not been uncommon in my experience, but I thought this type of grime was only Yu-Gi-Oh player grime. Like this is not Battle City. We are at a free draft tournament.
He does not know. I don't need
Anyway,
prizes.
yeah, like we all get the same thing. But anyway, I'm like, oh cool, if I win this, I go 3-0. But he puts down Pound Hour on the bench for his starting lineup, and I was like, no one's playing this unless he has the EX. So I told him straight up when he put it down and revealed it at the start of the match. I was like, I think I lose. Which, by the way, you should never say that to someone.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, we're just playing it out. Um, he drew rare candy turn one and went into Togekiss turn one actually,
Oh my god.
and I was like pretty much screwed. I had Lapras down, my goat, and
What's up?
a Toxel and a Bonsly on bench, so I was hurting really hard. So, turn two, he gets the Houndoom EX, and I'm like, okay, it's GG. I don't even have my win condition ready. 280 health. I can't even hit that damage number. He switches, and Houndoom is wrecking shop on my team. And so he gets two knockouts. Once again, I'm behind two prizes. But for those of you who don't know, Pokemon EX, when you knock them out, you actually get two prizes because it accounts for like how strong they are and like what they can do. So if I were to knock out this Pokemon, I would catch up in the prize race. But at this point in time, he knocks out my Lapras, and I have nothing to combat it because it's like I got two babies on the bench. Like Bonsly, we do a little trolling, and I put Bonsly out, and I'm
The
like,
tomfoolery begins.
God, if you're watching me play this game right now, I know you got bigger things to do. Let me win this coin flip. And I flip that Arceus coin, and that mug is confused. So my 30 HP Bonsly with no energy on it, that did, I think it only does like 10 or 30
10,
damage or
10
something.
damage.
Okay. I get the confusion on him, and his Houndoom EX is confused. And in the Pokemon TCG, when someone's confused, they have to flip a coin before they attack. Otherwise, they take damage. If they fail the coin flip, that is,
Yeah.
which is getting tails. So it's now his turn, and he's just like going for the knockout because he already has two. I already have two Pokemon out that are pretty much going to get one shot by any attack he does, and he hits himself in confusion. And his smile was just erased at that moment. Like I don't know if he just knew like I was about to cook, but that 30 damage he took um made him go into attack range or knockout range of my Toxtricity if I were to build it up.
Yes, he
So in my
bleeds.
mind, I was like, Ultra Instinct Goku sound because it was time to cook. And let's see. Well, pretty much after that, we had this issue where I misread my Toxtricity on my following turn,
Yes.
and I didn't know that another electric type Pokemon on the bench counted for Toxtricity's attack, which we've been talking about a lot, but I guess I haven't really explained it.
I can explain
So,
it.
okay.
So Toxicity has an attack called Loud Mix that has a base damage output of 50. But for every Pokemon type for every individual unique Pokemon type on the bench, it also does 30 damage. In Pokemon, you can have 5 Pokemon on your bench. So the perfect setup is to have 5 Pokemon of different types. So you can have like a normal, grass, fire, water, and electric type on your bench. Those 5 unique types each account for 30 damage. So now you have 150 plus 50 to do 200 damage maximum.
Right.
So the issue was, where the confusion was Toxicity in of itself is an electric type Pokemon. So are we counting electric types in that damage calculation? And yes, because the keyword there is that every type on your bench. So it's not even including Toxicity in that formula at all.
Right.
And what had happened, I guess, the turn before was we weren't accounting for that or something.
Right.
Like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for explaining that.
Mm-hmm.
And the important thing is, to your point, Steven, the max damage Toxicity can do is 200 damage. He took 30 from the confusion, and Houndoom EX, when it attacks, does 30 to itself. So he already took that damage, and then he took 10 from Bonsly.
No way Bonsly set this up. Oh my god.
Which set me up for the knockout with Toxicity. So he's confused, obviously, and I knock him out right there and then. And that was his win condition because all he had left was a Togekiss on bench with 1 energy attached. And he had a Togepi on bench. So once Houndoom was out the way, I just won. I went for the handshake. I said, "Hey, good games, man." He didn't say anything to me, and he just got up and walked away. And I was like, "I'm 2 for 2 on the grind."
Hey, like, and no ill will towards the guy, but do you think he cheated? You think he put down his deck so he can get the rare candy?
I do think his shuffling was kind of sus because typically in drafts and even in like Pokemon, like casual Pokemon, you're probably playing like 2 or 3 cards a turn. This guy depleted his entire hand turn 1 and then got Togekiss off and replenished his hand. So he had like his bench set up, he had his main attacker set up, and he had his draw engine set up like turn 1.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this guy knows how to play, and also kind of sus how he had like the optimal opening hand.
So you are the pro tag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I completely forgot. I don't know if you remember. I also paralyzed him.
Yeah, you did what you. Oh my god, I forgot you went for the Leer.
I went for the Toxicity Leer. It's like 1 electric energy, flip a coin. The opposing Pokemon is now paralyzed.
And so those who don't know, paralysis and Pokemon TCG is you can't do anything. You can't attack next turn. Like that Pokemon can do nothing that entire turn. Which I think you needed to get your bench full.
I did. I didn't have enough Pokemon on bench that turn. So
man, that sucks.
Yeah. So he lost a little bit of trolling, a little bit of luck, but
a little tomfoolery.
For those who don't know, when you do a draft format like this one, you're only allowed to use the cards you get from your draft box. And I did think it was a bit odd that he had like a very optimized deck. Like, who's to say he wasn't like super lucky on his pools?
Yeah.
But considering that he plays, my thing was if that guy who you played against wasn't over there to explain the rolling to us, I do feel like the person I was playing against did know that I had enough damage on Loud Mix, but he wasn't gonna say anything because technically it is my responsibility to know like what my cards do.
Well, you'd only know that if you play TCG games.
Right.
Or just not being a good sport. So
yeah. So and it was funny. So after you finish your last round, you go up and like report your last score, and then you get your like winners packs and stuff. And everyone just went back to sit next to the people they played against. But this guy went and just left the shop after he got his packs because he was gonna come back and sit in front of me. But then he like looked and it was like still me there, and he just left the shop. I just ruined his Thursday night.
And you can't win them all. Speaking of L's, so
Oof.
I'm gonna preempt this right now. I won all my games on Tuesday. Okay,
I
so
thought Tuesday didn't count.
I didn't say that. So ah! All right, fine. We'll go with that then. So on Thursday now we're talking round 3. I was playing against the dad that we sat next to when we first came in. He is more of a collector from our conversation we kind of had, but he does play the game. I will say one thing that confused everybody there was how do status effects work? Because I'm not gonna lie, I forgot too. Um, and that's really interesting. I feel like as far as like the competitive Pokemon scene right now is that you don't see confusion or burn or sleep you don't see any of those stats effects in like the high level game. Am I kind of spitting on that? Like, am I?
That's facts. That's
Yeah,
like because everything is so fast, you can switch so easily. Like, yeah,
exactly. So I didn't even think about that because the mom was asking, "What does burn do?" And I was like, "I know it does 20 damage, but there's no way it persists forever." And we had to like look it up, and so it actually you need to flip a coin to get rid of burn, but the first hit you have to take the damage, blah blah blah. So um, we were kind of talking about that a little bit before we got to our match, but after a minute he was like, I just want to get my packs and go home because it's getting late. I need to get up out of here. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's just run it really quick and be done with it. I'm thinking I'm have a pretty good chance to win, but then I find out that we're running the same deck.
jeez.
And the worst part is he pulled some stuff that's a little bit more interesting. He pulled a Drampa, which has an attack for 2 colorless, do 120 damage, so a much better toxicity
Wow.
support than what I'm dealing with. But I think where I had the worst luck with game 3 because I bricked turn 1. I had nothing. I had a Toxel on the field, but that was it. Um, Luckily, I chose to go second so I can get some Pokemon on the field. But after that, that pretty much kind of screwed me for the rest of the game because I could not set up anything. I managed to get my Toxel out of the active spot so I can get Toxicity ready to go. But I had to sacrifice 3 prizes just to get the ball rolling for me.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was bad. I was down super bad. Luckily, though, by the time my 3rd prize went, I had Entei on the field with 3 energy. I had Toxicity ready to go. I had 3 Pokemon on my bench. So I'm thinking I'm good, and I can knock out this Toxicity and be done with it. He pulls his only switch to get his Toxicity on the bench, and he pulls out Drampa. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And this is where I misplayed, but I knew we talked about that, but it was already too late. But I played Pokemon League Headquarters, which is a stadium card. Now, stadium cards are a little different from item cards. They persist on the field until another stadium card replaces it or is removed from an effect. And what this card does is that every basic Pokemon requires an extra energy to attack. Which I'm thinking, cool. I can I can force this Drampa and to have another energy attached to it, which he probably doesn't have because he only had like 2 cards in his hand, and I can win this. Or he has to switch, and then he might whiff. We were going so fast. I didn't look at how much damage Loud Mix was doing. I was assuming I'd definitely be dead, but and I was, but I'm thinking I still got this.
Operating on hope.
Yeah, I'm also operating 2 brain cells because then I switched my Toxicity out into Entei, which is a basic Pokemon. I'm like, all right, I use Flame Ball, and then he points to my card and points to this day. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, and
Oh
totally
man.
forgot. I already added energy that turn, so I couldn't do anything, and that was it. But yeah, I mean, I was already done anyway because even if I knocked out one of his Pokemon, all he'd have to do is bring Toxicity up, and then just
Right.
swing with Loud Mix and be done with it. So it was technically a close game, but it was the first loss I've had. Um, but I mean, he was good. He knew what he was doing. He just had better draws. So it was all right. But then after the match, we were kind of talking, and I could tell he was more of a collector than a player because he was getting really upset about how everyone was pulling that Charizard.
Yeah, he was basically just saying it's worthless.
Yeah, it's like this is it's a $50 card. I was like, I mean, I guess, but like, why are you so upset about it? Like, do you flip cards? You're a family man. he was telling me though that both his sons and him pulled that card.
3 Charizards in that house.
Three of the same Charizard in that house. Now he mentioned that he thinks the gold one's gonna be worth money, and I don't care because I don't care for that card.
But the gold rares,
so gross.
They hurt the eyes.
Yeah.
Some are like okay. I think the items look better in it than the Pokemon do.
Oh, gold items are like, I think that's like actually really cool. Item or card to look at. Gold Pokemon though, I mean, I don't know. Go back to Rainbow, I guess. I think that was a better aesthetic.
Big fan.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Our tournament was good. I will say after the tournament though, seeing everyone kind of chat. Cause okay, let's talk about first. So we got our booster packs, right? We'll start with you. How'd you pull?
So I pulled, and if you check our Instagram, you'll see this. I pulled the amazing Teazor card, which is like an anti-meta card, but also that art is so beautiful. It's based on like a samurai at sunset type of scene with a Caesar dueling another Caesar. It's so good. There'll be a visual on screen for the video.
Oh, we've shown the visual like at least 3 episodes now. So we love that card. If you haven't seen it already, watch the rest of the podcast. You idiot.
Yeah, watch this on YouTube. But you also see it again.
Yeah.
On our Instagram. And then I also pulled the illustration rare Hound Hour.
Yeah.
Which just really good art. It's really good. I have nothing to say.
A couple of back alley pups. It's cute. It's a cute card.
Is it a reference to the movie?
I don't think it is, but it has almost the same art style. So I would assume the artist has probably had some inspiration from that. That's what I think anyway. Yeah.
How do you feel like you pulled?
Well, listen, you can't win them all. You know, you might have got great pulls on. I pull all my great pulls were on Tuesday. First of all, so
Tuesday didn't count.
Well, I'm making them count here because I still have them. So I pulled the illustration rare Gita, which big dub. And then I pulled the Victini EX, which doesn't really matter, but I'm collecting all the Victini, so that was really like, I was like, oh man, like I love this. It redeemed the set for me because I didn't have to pay for the rest of it. So I got the Victini EX and the Gita. I'm sitting good. Come Thursday, I pulled the Lechonk. Just the illustration rare Lechonk. Which David had already pulled.
Yeah, for my entry pack, that's what I pulled.
So there's now 2 of those dollar cards. I mean, not the value, man. I just don't care for Lechonk. I really don't care. Like it's a nice art. It's nice art, but I just don't care about Lechonk at all. So
kind of a meme, man.
Yeah, exactly. So for that to be my only pull out of 7 packs, that kind of sucked, but I don't know. I had a good time. Got to hang with my brother. He pulled the Caesar, so now it's in the house.
Close enough.
Exactly. So, I mean, that was our pulls and stuff, but I think what was crazy is the junior division, right?
Oh man.
We're not going to talk too long because we've kind of gone on this topic for about 40 minutes, but
these kids are vile.
Dude, like it's crazy. It's almost like I always thought it was the adults that were the scalpers that were the issue, but no, it's these kids. Forget these kids. Don't let them buy packs or nothing. Take everything.
You need to limit how many packs these kids can buy because they were talking about like card value and they were talking about investing and like, oh, you should hold on this because this will go up in value
Yeah,
in a year or something. I was like, you are 10.
it was Blake Breaks Jr., bro. They're wheeling and
Yeah.
dealing.
Not like
It's
Brace.
insane. I was waiting for my round three, or waiting for the rounds to end, and like there's these kids who are standing over. I don't know, maybe it was a guy you were playing against, but like it was three kids and an adult, kind of like watching over the deal going on, and like the kids going through one of them's binder, and they're like, yeah, like my dad sold the Umbreon for $275. And the kid goes, like, you know, it's going for like 600. And I'm like, why do you know this? Why? Why do you know about this? It's like, did you get your money back? I was like, yeah, you know, we trade these other cards at a profit instead. I'm like, wait. Okay. And just for reference, I'm pretty sure these kids were like 6, 10, and 12, respectively. Like they
Yeah.
could be no older than that. Um,
So they were all like 3 feet tall max.
yeah. But talking like they're on Wall Street. Like it was crazy listening to those conversations, and just to sit, and that's just talking about like the weirdest part, like even from the game itself, the kids were cheating left and right. And I think like someone had to come up to you for you to tell them, like, tell the
Yes.
kid that they're cheating.
Yeah, so this little boy was playing. They were playing the camera up ditto. This little boy and this little girl, and the little girl's grandma came up to me because there was a rule dispute, and told her granddaughter basically to ask me how this interaction should play out. And um, the young boy was like, "No, when you evolve a Pokemon, you heal all your damage," which is just not true. And if he had gotten that ruling passed or like no one corrected him, he would have won the game because they were both on their last prize and she was going to attack for game. And she was like, "No, that's not true." So the grandma and the daughter like pulled me over and I explained this rule to the young boy and he knew, like you could
Yeah,
tell he knew
yeah.
after I corrected him because he was like, "Oh darn."
No way.
After,
Oh,
yes, after I explained it. So then the girl attacks and knocks out his camera up and takes her last prize. And she pops off on him. She gets excited. And the boy just walks away. And I was like, these kids are so grimy.
another
Not the
kid,
pop off after winning from a ruling.
another kid put in shambles by David, by the
Yeah.
way.
I heard a couple kids died. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
All in good fun, though. All in good fun. I didn't know she popped off. That's actually really funny.
She was so happy. And I was like,
Well,
that's great.
I
But
don't know if you
man,
saw earlier, but she was like teach people the game and stuff. Like she was really into it, which I guess is really good to see that kids still are willing to actually play this game and not, you know, hunt for the bag, I guess.
yeah, I mean, like out of all the kids, she was probably someone who was more interested in playing than being a whatnot streamer at 9 years old.
Oh
So
man. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, funny interaction, but that wasn't an isolated incident. There were a lot of ruling disputes in the junior division, and a lot of kids like just making stuff up and trying to cheat each other.
Yeah. I'm sure Play Pokemon is taking notes so that when they go to a real tournament, they will be docked.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean that was our Flame pre-release, and I had a good time. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it was really fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to play for a set I actually care about. You know, because I will say that I think the turnout here was a lot bigger because of Charizard. Um,
That's what he said. The shop owner.
yeah, I mean,
He said
regard.
their last pre-release was like 12 people.
Dang, I actually look forward to Paradox Rift then. Um, that's gonna be because it'll be less people, but I think it'll be more like interesting to see like the people who are like actually here to play the game. You know.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, that's a pre-release experience. I hope you all enjoyed that. Um, I did. So
We did.
yeah, exactly. We there you go. It's two people. That's all we need. It's like it's like, and then multiply that by five, and that's our entire audience. So we're almost there.
We enjoyed it enough for everyone who did not enjoy it out in the audience.
Boom. All right, and with that, I think we're gonna stay on TCG, but let's get into the, I guess, news moment. This is where I would play the news audio. Um, thank you. So, twin, you know, now it made it hard for me to edit that in.
I'm sorry.
So, Twin Leaf GG. Remember, we were talked about the alternative card simulation that would be replacing TCG Live. Don't get your hopes up. There has been that Twitter account has been very quiet. Nothing has been mentioned or posted by them, or I guess tweeted by them since we last talked about it. There have been a change to the website though, and all the Pokemon card art has now been removed. Whether that's because they are feeling the heat from Pokemon, or they don't want to, or actually taking the heat of the audience who are saying that you might get taken down by Pokemon. Nobody knows, but my theory is that yes, they are trying to be extra careful with this as they start building out the simulator.
Yeah, I think it might end up being a super low key thing because of two things. One thing is a lot of people I saw on like online forums and stuff. There were a lot of people who were like trolling, like, "I'm gonna report this to Nintendo," and like, obviously a crappy thing to do, but people have done this before in the past, like report fan projects and stuff. Like just the crazy Nintendo loyalists,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So there's that, but also I remember there's a point in time where Pokemon Showdown was taken down for a bit, and the only way to play was through. And most people don't play this way, but the only way you could play was by downloading the .exe and playing online
yeah.
because Nintendo was just cracking down on like all simulators and online Pokemon content. So to your point, I think they're trying to be very safe about it, and it might be like a really low key TCG alternative.
I think that's okay though, right? Like, it saves them on handling a large player base, because you'd have it's any kind of barrier like that is going to lower player count, but that's okay for, I think, these competitive scenes, because I think ultimately Twin Leaf GG is for the, I would just say super fans, right? Like the professional players or those that want to go back to these older formats, which isn't the general audience. Um, I think,
Right, that's fair.
yeah, I think the general audience can live with Pokemon TCG Live. Um, maybe it's not live, maybe it's live. But Twin Leaf GG is going to be, a small, it's going to be like a little niche thing for a while, I think, and I think that's what people are okay with, because as long as it's being supported, just to get it off the ground, I think we'll be happy with that. Um, as long as they're still working on it. I would hate for this to be a ninja moment where we're just kind of waiting for months on end and there's just nothing, just radio silence for the foreseeable future. Um,
That is exactly what I was thinking because when you go on their Twitter, it's just that announcement tweet.
yep.
There's been no news anywhere else. Like I get, and to be fair, his last tweet was asking for people to join the project and such.
Yeah.
So he might have gotten everyone he needed, and now they're just like working in the shadows, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the hope anyway.
Yeah. Best case scenario. They're in a bunker somewhere, programming
Nintendo
hard.
ninjas won't touch us.
They can't get us out here. Yeah, not really much else to say on that. That's just kind of like an interesting development on Twin Leaf GG. Hopefully, something comes to fruition within the coming, well, not coming months, but beyond that, that's what I'm expecting to hear some more news on it. But at the site's still up, so I guess everything's still good. So yeah, just a little check in.
Yeah, hoping for it though, because one reservation we have on like TCG content is that we have to use the horrible TCG Live,
Yeah,
and that
it's
comes with a whole nother slew of problems.
yeah, a lot. So yeah, we will keep you up to date on any new developments. And our next story, I'll get with the news broadcaster pit for a minute. Tokyo Catch.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I don't know if people have heard about this, but it came to my attention a little less than a month ago. So Tokyo Catch is, as described on their website, a beginner gotcha claw machine that allows you to get Japanese goods, figures, plushies, and miscellaneous cushions, which I thought was funny that they specified that.
Not even
Um,
plushes, just miscellaneous
Cushions.
cushions. All right.
Yeah. So you can get it by playing claw machines that are actually in Japan at arcades and stuff via your smartphone. And I don't know if you can play it on your computer
You
or that
can.
functionality has been worked out. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, I just thought this was an interesting thing. I know a lot of claw machines historically have been in arcades and malls. Two things that are kind of not doing as well as they have in the past as venues for entertainment, and bringing this to people's smartphones and allowing them to also get their prizes via their like shipping service and such, I thought was really interesting.
So I missed that tidbit. What do you beginner claw machines? Is there
Beginner gotcha claw machine.
yeah, what there is no tier list for claw machines. They all are broken. You know. What does that even look like? What so I
As
don't know.
opposed to an advance
Well, I've
gotcha
never
claw
won
machine.
one, so I can't tell the difference. Am I a casual claw machine player? I wouldn't be able to tell.
I have to call my friends at Tokyo Catch to find out the difference.
Tokyo
They don't have
Catch.
a tier list of claw machines.
That's crazy. That's what they call it, beginner. As if just like the flex on you, like, yeah, this is the easy stuff. You want to go to
I
the
assume
real
it's a
deal.
marketing ploy. It's probably a marketing ploy, right? To make people think it's like easy.
Well, that's
Like
the
just
thing.
that wording.
So I've seen people use this service. I've never done it because you do have to set up credit card information and stuff, which I'm not doing for stuff that I don't 100% trust. Um, so I've seen people do this though, and they've like some of the games are like just knock a bunch of ping pong balls into like a cup, and the allocated points equate into like if you reach 100 points out of the ping pong ball's value, you get the prize. That's easy. You can win that pretty consistently. Um,
Right.
and I've seen prizes range from like I don't know, little kawaii vegetables to like big Kirby plushes. So I mean the prizes are they're way better than anything out here. Um,
Yeah.
I'll say that. But the games, I guess some of the games are easy because they're not. It's not a claw machine. It's more like a hey, just like knock all this crap over.
Yeah, and there's a couple different machines for sure, but
Yeah.
you don't have to play a claw machine, which I think would be difficult on a phone screen anyway, right?
I can't imagine being any more difficult than. Well, okay, so obviously the camera is probably the hardest part, right? But I have seen some that have different camera angles you can use, and
Mhm.
then the controls part is just it might be delayed, but just using the touchscreen for like the arrows and stuff. Um,
Right.
yeah. So is it hard? Yeah, because let's be honest, you have to use yeah, you're on a time limit first of all if you're not getting at the claw machine. Um, you have to control it on a delay, and you still won't get. It's not the same as being able to be in the same room to kind of see exactly where that claw is going. 'Cause that's what I do. I'm a tall guy, so I can like kind of see, kind of get a bird's eye view of where the claw is going to be at, um, which helps a lot. But when you have camera one, two, and three to kind of bank on, it's a little different.
Right.
so so yeah, I think it's cool. I think I from the service I saw, I think there's multiple services for this, right? This isn't just
Yes.
yeah. So the service I saw, you can load credits, and so you can play the same machine as much as you want. After you just here's my $50. I'm just gonna do this for $50 for today. Um, there's queues. I didn't know there's queues for this stuff. So you can, the machine's really popular. You have to sit in a queue with 20 other people, which I thought was really funny. Um, and then there's some machines that are like in arcades. So I think it's just kind of crazy for me if I'm walking, like I'm in Japan, I'm at an arcade, man, I wish. And I just see this machine. It's like on a demo, but staff comes by and takes the prize. Oh, oh, that's just gone now, huh?
Live camera.
Yeah.
You can probably see some crazy stuff will probably be seen on that app, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For those public ones, yeah. Because most people know there's a live camera. Like, that's why Omega exists, right?
Oh, man.
Some of y'all are too young for that.
Not the Omegle episode.
Oh.
But do you think you'd ever use this service?
If there's a machine for something because I don't collect like plushes or anything, but if there's a prize I can only get there, yeah, probably. Because what I heard is like shipping's really cheap, and it's incorporated into your, I guess, pricing.
Play cost.
Yeah, your play cost. So, yeah, I mean, I'd give it a shot. I think, actually, be pretty cool. I guess it would be a pretty cool video to do. Playing Tokyo Catch live in the comfort of my own home. Yeah, I'd say I'd give it a shot, even though I just said I wouldn't put credit card or anything on it. If I had a prepaid card, I'd do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because my issue is like the safety of it, because they're gonna have your financial information and
my address,
housing information. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I mean, not that I think anyone from Japan is trying to hunt me down or anything, but I also don't think they care if they lost my information either.
True.
Wait a minute.
But I thought it was interesting because some of the machines had there's like special line of Pokemon plushes. I think it's called like Soda or something.
Oh.
But they all have these like cute blue eye things.
Yeah.
And I know those can get pretty expensive, and some are even like sold out on like Pokemon Center and stuff.
They are not cheap.
But yeah, they have those are some of the prizes in these like claw machines. And I was interested, like, okay, what is the future development of this app? Because there's going to be like a meta or like a core audience of people who like just do this, similar to like Whatnot used to be this like small thing, right?
Yeah, it's. I tend to forget that that's how most of these things go.
Yeah, it starts like casual and stuff, and then there's like a couple of people figure out how it works, and either something changes or it's just those like few 10 people. Right?
You know why I think it'll be okay? Because no American trusts the claw machine. Because we know we rigged it.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the thing I want to talk about for a minute, because like claw machines are intentionally like busted up, right? Like I'm not the only one who thinks that.
No, everyone knows it.
Yeah, like
we do it.
So I don't know. I feel like us Americans, I think we'll tend to stay away from Tokyo Catch. I think that we're too apprehensive about the claw machine to even do any even the minimal amount of research.
Right, exactly.
That being said,
it's it's pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the Tokyo Catch. I thought it was an interesting thing, just like how technology's come so far, but definitely not my cup of tea. But there are some rare things on there I'm interested in.
And now it's your turn, audience. Tell us your experience on Tokyo Catch. Go now. See if you can pull the Soda Pop Pikachu.
If someone has tried it, I do want to like hear your experience. So please let us know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. At this point now, it's time to pivot entirely something completely different. So EVO happened this weekend. EVO being the what does EVO stand for?
The Evolution.
Oh, okay. Well, the Evolution Fighting Tournament. I'm gonna call it that now.
We just call it Evo
Yeah,
for a
everyone calls it
reason.
Evo. Yeah.
Evolution would sound kind of corny.
Well, it was kind of corny. So we'll be straightforward with you now. We didn't watch all of Evo. We tuned in. To be honest, we tuned in to hate watch. There's a player. You might know him. He's a little funny guy. You know,
Are we gonna be on some Voldemort type thing and not say his name?
yeah, I'm not giving him any like publicity. If we
Let's
popped off,
go.
it's yeah. So there's a guy comes from a different country who was playing at Evo and he won.
There was a Fox player playing Guilty Gear.
Yeah, there was a not fighting game player who won a fighting game tournament.
Strive community on watch, by the way.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we watched that. Twitter was hilarious, by the way. I don't really have too much thoughts on it. I will say though, I was watching Street Fighter 6, so we're done with the loser guy.
Just had to get that in there.
Yeah, I was watching Street Fighter 6, and it was kind of nice to see that like that game hasn't totally changed from what it looks like for the other entries in the series. I know there's a lot of footsies involved, and I know so I've watched my friends play Street Fighter 6, and it's very aggressive, but after watching this tournament, patience is actually rewarded. Baiting is actually rewarded in this game.
Yep.
Like it looked like an actual Street Fighter. So to see it on the big screen, I was like, okay, cool. This game hasn't totally lost its identity. It's still a good Street Fighter. Sorry, something in my throat. But yeah, no, go ahead.
It was great. It was great. I'm gonna give you some time to clear your throat. But no, Street Fighter 6 though, it was really refreshing to watch because the gameplay, I think it was very good firstly for a spectator sport. Like it was very clear when certain characters were doing things and like let's say an attack made them like invincible, or it was clear to see who was in an advantage and who wasn't. And artistically the game is just beautiful to look at. There isn't some like unsightly stage like some games in the past where they'd use too much of a color or something. And the characters really stand out with like their special effects and attacks and such.
Yes.
But even like as a player, it seems that a lot of characters are viable because even in the top 6, there were 5 different characters played.
Yeah, I mean,
and somebody was a dual main.
Who was doing? What was their character?
The Blanca Luke.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we almost got double Ken Grands, which
Go.
let's go. He never quits.
We deserved it.
USA.
Man right there. Yeah.
But yeah, so to those who aren't paying attention, Luke has been shown as a very strong character. Ken obviously has been a strong character. He has to be good. Every Street Fighter game, it is canon. It is law.
It's God's will.
Yes.
It's biblically canonical.
But I thought people were counting out Blanca throughout the build up to Evo, and to see Blanca almost win, like I can see why though, because there is a difference between online Blanca and actual like I know what I'm doing Blanca. And
right,
like so Blanca has a lot of it's called set play, where I don't know why they gave it to this character. He traditionally does not have any of this, but he can throw out we'll just say a long lasting projectile that he can control what it does after he sets it. And the way I think it was Menard. The way Menard piloted that character utilizing that was way different from any Blanca I had seen since Street Fighter 6 had come out. No, like I feel like no one's really like that's a cool thing, right? Because no one's really solved every character. Like, I think that's what you said earlier. It's like it was a very diverse pool for the top 8.
Right. Like it wasn't like everyone was playing the super polarizing. Because remember, Rashid was legal at this.
Oh, that's right, he was.
and there was no Rashid in top 6. You have to think of it that way, you know.
That's crazy. That's
And this was a for those of you who didn't watch, 7,000 people entered this tournament.
yes, it was the I think largest entry count.
Yeah. Yep.
So pretty good game. Pretty good game, the Street Fighter 6. They be fighting in the streets.
Did you have a character you particularly liked watching over the others?
Okay.
Let's go.
um who else though? Because I don't know. I think Marissa's honestly a really interesting character just for the fact like she could just beat your ass. And
Yeah.
there's almost there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to hold that.
She is on me. GG's go next.
That's what it,
Which is also why I love the quick rematch button in this game, because you can actually GG go next.
oh, we're not done here. I might have got cooked, but I'm not done here. Yeah, who else? I don't know. I honestly have more appreciation for Blanca after this tournament because the last match of I think it was losers. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was losers. He was up. Menard was up against a Ken, and in Street Fighter 6, there is counter hits where you can kind of throw out no, I guess it's a focus attack basically.
Yeah, the drive impact.
Yeah, drive impact, where you can throw out a pretty slow and heavy move, but you have super armor for a certain amount of hits. The Ken had used, I think he did max gauge to get the most hits out, to get the most super armor, and Menard just unloaded on him with every like attack. Like he hit him like 6 times, and the last hit broke the armor and won him the game. That was so good.
They both cashed out. It was great.
Yeah.
It was super hype moment. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I do recommend you watch it. The VOD's are already up for EVO, crazily enough.
Yeah. Well, they don't play around, especially when they have the key to the city.
What did you think about that? Like a fighting game tournament organizer getting the key to Las Vegas?
I thought that was insane, but that is right up the alley for Las Vegas because they don't Las Vegas. You know that big spear they have that big sphere projector that they have.
Oh yeah.
That they built as sort of a giant eyeball. Like those people are crazy. That mayor is doing something. I don't know what he's doing. I'm not accusing him of anything, but he's on something because he okayed all of that.
Yeah, entertainment seems to be king there.
Yes.
That's for sure.
So just kind of flip people in. At the end of was it the end of EVO or was it before the so the end of EVO,
it was the end.
The mayor of Las Vegas, that's where the tournament's hosted, came out with a decree stating that one, the creators of the EVO tournament would be given a key to the city. I know it's just like a symbol thing, but like what perks do I get for holding that and walking around with the key to the city? Like I'm interested, but
city.
Hey, all right. So they get the key, right? They also announced that now August 6th will forever be known as EVO Day in Las Vegas. It will be an actual holiday.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you think they're actually going to celebrate EVO Day?
Well, they'll all be at EVO.
I guess it's like a forced celebration.
Yeah, dude. My thing is like, so what do the rest of us get? We get discounts on EVO merch, I guess. Like to me, it's like I know it's a formality, but like no one's like, oh man, you got a day near this event. That's crazy. No one's gonna care. No one's gonna care. And like, what am I getting out of this? It was just so it was so wild.
It was completely out of left field. That's for sure.
I think it's because they didn't have any announcements, so they had to make something up.
They did kind of blow their load with all the big announcements being day one.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess they were really banking on that and that eye drop sponsorship. So.
Yeah.
God damn it.
and the Chipotle sponsorship.
I was hungry that night.
Yeah, but overall, it was just a super fun experience to watch with like all the craziness and like people cheering for $5 Chipotle gift cards.
That's actually not that bad. I already
Pays for guac
pays for half my burrito. Well, a third of my burrito.
if you don't get guac.
I'm not getting guac. You get guac from Chipotle?
I don't go to Chipotle anymore.
Okay. Oh, you're trying to evade the allegations, huh?
Yeah, like I can't say I pay for guac.
All right, all right. Someone likes paying for nothing.
It's hard out here.
Yeah, true, true. All right. Well, on the topic of uh more conventions, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Evo is kind of a fighting game convention because they do have that big creator booth and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
artist.
Artist gallery.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but yeah, to your point on the same vein of conventions, at Gen Con, and just pivoting back to TCG, Digimon had a rule change the night before one of their largest regionals.
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy for the people in it.
Yeah, so essentially how it works is usually tournaments, like we kind of talked about with pre-release. The pre-release segment was usually for tournaments they are a best of 3 format. You will play out your whoever gets to win 2 wins out of the 3 matches will win. There are usually ties involved that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. But the gist of it is, if you win your 2 matches per set, you will go on to the next. You will move forward to the guy who's the losers. So what happened at Gen Con was that Digimon, or Bandai Namco, will say, sent an email out to all the players stating that we are not doing that and that everything will be a best of 1. Every single set. So, and that kind of messes up entire game plans for how you build your deck, how you manage it, because I mean you can kind of, I guess you can go into more detail about, but it kind of ruins how you play out the set, right?
Right, exactly. Because a lot of people were building like to be more versatile or able to combat multiple strategies, and also um, building like more of a consistent deck so that you don't like, let's say, brick during a round, or like consistent enough that okay, like if I lose game 1, I still have a chance to win game 2 and 3. And then the inverse is like if you're playing a more aggressive deck, like some cards you wouldn't run because it gets in the way of like your combos and stuff.
Yeah.
So let's say you're playing like War Greymon X, or like just some like red deck that just hits people in the face and wins really quickly. In a best of 1 format, you would just run no protection and just win the coin flip, and then you would just win. And then you can also play through the coin flip. But if you're playing in a best of 3 format, you need to account for, okay, now this person knows what I'm playing. They're going to play differently. So I need to have these cards for when they start countering how I'm playing. And like when player interaction and stuff is going on, you have to build differently for different types of formats. And it's kind of interesting because Japan has always been best of 1 for Digimon. But in the States, it's always been best of 3.
Yeah.
And we've had various rule changes because you have to remember that this is best of 1, and we had mulligans legal for this, which basically, for those who don't play trading card games, a mulligan is where you draw your opening hand. If you don't like it, you get to shuffle it back in your deck and draw another opening hand.
Which in this best of 1 is like, oh, I didn't win. I can't get my win con this turn. Let me try again. And that, it's a one and done, right? Like it doesn't matter going into game 2. Like you get 1 shot, or technically 2 shots, I guess, to pull your winning hand. And if you don't, that's just it. So it's very frustrating because this happened kind of at Worlds too. Not in the same sense, but what Pokemon Worlds had done was they canceled the Yokohama Open, which is their tournament at Worlds, to start prepping for the next round, for the next Worlds, I would say. Um, Next season, I'll say. They had just canceled out the event outright, I think, weeks before the tournament, or yeah, before Worlds took place, which some people want to go to Worlds to actually compete in that tournament so they can get a jump start on those things. And I think what I'm trying to get at is how these organizations are submitting their homework last minute, you know? Uh, it's just frustrating, right? Because like you would think that these things would be set in stone and ready to go already. Like what is happening in the background for these things to be changed last minute? You know, why I for Digimon I can kind of see the idea of we are changing to best of one to better fit. We're trying to make everything uh, a standardized rule set. But
Right. And also accounting for like the amount of people who signed up, which I don't think they were prepared for fully.
which I don't know how they're again, I don't know how they're not. I mean, Gen Con is one of the biggest trading card tournament scenes, um, you know, in the
At a
US.
convention center, exactly in the US for
Yeah.
sure.
So doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to not account for that, but I guess maybe that's just a lack of foresight. um, and I think probably the same with Worlds for Pokemon. It's people aren't doing their research, you know. So very frustrating. I'm sure the players had a field day on Twitter about it. Um,
Oh yeah.
so, uh, I do hope that in the future these things are kind of resolved ahead of time. There's no need to gaslight people, you know, like no way to lead them astray and completely mess up their plans last minute, you know, because trading card games it's a lot of R&D, right? Like you can't just change it at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. And you have to also remember like they have to submit deck lists for this event.
Oh,
So like you couldn't even change stuff. You just had to like play different. And the interesting and sad part of this is the compensation. And I have the email pulled up. I'm not going to read it word for word, but the compensation for the unexpected change says this: as an apology for any and all participants who may feel stress from this change, will be given a Gen Con promo pack as a gift of their participation.
yeah. What do we got in the back?
And just promo packs have like 4 cards or
4 cards,
something in
yeah,
them.
yeah. So they're getting
Those cards are like can be valuable, but still, you get 4 cards for basically being sent to a completely different event.
all's forgiven if I pull a good card.
You have to think people have to pay for travel and they have to like test this deck and prepare for a certain format.
Yep.
And the only like real life analogy I can think of is like if I told you we were going to Florida and then the night before I was like, oh, actually we're going to Alaska. Or
Right.
like we're at the airport and I tell you, oh, we're actually going to Alaska.
Yeah,
Like
no, that's really good. Because like now, what do you got? You got your shorts and Hawaiian shirts and everything, and you got nothing. You're not ready for this. Like your whole plan and trip, all that everything planned out, it's ruined.
I promise you're not cooking in your trunks in Alaska.
You're probably not cooking.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah, I mean, man, just incompetence from on high, I would assume. Well, good luck to those players' pools. I wish them the best. So both their pools and their pools is from like the tournament.
Man.
So good luck, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's
Well,
kind of all I have on Digimon for sure. I just hope it doesn't affect the player base.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is par for the course for some of the stuff, so we'll roll with it. But we're about at the hour 30 mark. I think a little bit over. Um, so I think we're about to just go ahead and wrap up here, unless you had anything you wanted to touch on before we roll out of this joint.
No, but I do really want to talk about Pokemon Unite next time, and along with that, the Pokemon Presents, which at the time of recording will be sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're still debating. This won't matter because you guys will hear this after the fact, but you might get an extra video this week. So look out for that. If not, look out for Instagram where I will post something like, "Hey, I liked Pokemon Presents. Hey, David, did you like Pokemon Presents?" And then he'll, I don't know, say
With a
nothing.
little more flavor. Well, a little more flavor, assuming they've got heat for us, because I have many wants for this direct, but also with it only being 35 minutes, I think it will just be something that we already know or something that's already been leaked, like Mewtwo Y that we know is coming to Unite already.
They will show us a computer screen that is in Unity for Generation 2.
I, you know, I don't think they're showing anything for Gen 10. I think we're gonna have 10 minutes of um Scarlet and Violet DLC, which we've already
Oh
seen.
yeah. If I could make the bingo card, it's gonna be Scarlet and Violet DLC. We might see a new clip of the new Pokemon Netflix show. Um, and we might get the rest of 20 minutes will just be the shorts from the Pokemon Quest games that we were supposed to get a while back but have not seen anything of. So they'll just slam them all into one presents and that'll be the end of it. Oh, new merch that you already knew
uh,
about. Yeah, what actually that's a good question. What's comment section? What's gonna be the next giant life-size plush? Because that's what you're gonna see at this presents.
that's not bad. I actually have to think about it,
My
but
bet's on Caterpie.
soft Goldango.
Oh man, life-size Goldango. I might. That's because that's your homie now. That's your boy.
Oh, I'm not gonna sing the Goldango rap, but if we get 100 views on YouTube,
Yeah, we'll do it. I don't care.
I'll drop the diss track.
Hey. All right. On that note, guys, another podcast episode complete. See you guys on the next one. I don't have any cards to open this week.
You
So,
can't hear the plastic this time.
no, I can start shuffling these cards until the screen fades away.
Black City Towers out.
Just making any noise.